What's going on, guys? The real D'Lo here, and we are back. We're going to talk about some GPUs. It's my favorite subject. It's pretty much all I do every day is talk about GPUs. So here we go. Today I want to talk about my independent testing that I did myself with the resources I had available and the cards I tested and the performance they came with. So first things first, I've made previous videos on how I felt about the 4080, how I thought that it was overpriced and you shouldn't buy it. I don't necessarily agree with that as I sit here today. I think you can buy it, but I think it has to be at the right price. I bought a 4070. So let's start. I have a 3080 12 gig. I had a 3080 12 gig. I actually just sold it on the open market. Then I got a 7900 XT, a 4070 Ti, a 7900 XTX, and a 4080. Okay. I bought all of them because I wanted to test them myself. I want to hear sound quality, noise quality, noise levels, temps, gaming performance in the games I play with my hardware, not what some reviewer told me. I want to know myself. So I bought them all and I tested them myself. And I have discussions online with people all the time. People argue and say they know more than me, and that's fine. But ultimately, my testing is my testing. My numbers are my numbers, and I know how the game felt and played myself. So I feel like I'm qualified to make a recommendation based on that. So let's take a peek. Is it this dock? Okay, for starters, I'm going to shrink myself down, get myself out of the way. All right, I said this a while back. Here's what I said. Hold on. No, that's good. I said that if you're playing on 1080p, you'd get a 3060 Ti. You don't need much more than that. If you're playing on 1440p, get a 6800. And if you're playing in 4K, the budget would be a 6900 XT. But I also had a 3080 12 gig, and I wanted to upgrade because I had a 4K, right? So what did I do? I wanted to look at this range. It's going to get brighter. There you go. I was looking in this range here. I was here, right? Here's my 4K frames. And I said I wanted 20% more performance. I wanted to be, so if we're going to talk 50, 60, 70, here you go. I want to be in here. 87, 90, 94, 109, 113, 142. Here's the deal. This guy here, the 3090 Ti, it's too expensive. 4080 16 gig was a little pricey, and the 4090 was just too much money. I feel like it's just too much. You can get it for $1,700 right now, I think, in a lot of places. But I didn't want the power draw. I didn't want the price. So my sweet spot was always going to be the 7900 XTX. And I made a 4080 video saying don't buy the 4080 until we see what the 7900 XTX does. I'll tell you what. I'm recording this on a 7900 XTX right now. I purchased it for $9.99. I used the Best Buy 10% off code and a $10 Best Buy reward. I paid $899 for my 7900 XTX. It's not a lot of money for the performance I'm getting. Also, I'm impressed with it. I bought a reference design from Gigabyte. I'm going to get the box. Hold on. All right. This is what I'm currently using. See this guy right here? This is what I'm using right now. I'm using a 7900 XTX Gigabyte reference model. And I'll tell you what. It's a good GPU. It's a good GPU. Totally is. So, that being said, I did have a 4070 Ti. I did decide to return that. I was trying to upgrade with the cheapest amount of money possible that was better than what I had that accomplished my goals, right? And I wanted to make sure I got the right model because I value temperature and, the thermals of the card, and I value the noise the card outputs. So here's what I did, guys. I was targeting, like I said, the 7900 XTX, the 4080, the 7900 XT, or the 4070 Ti. What was always out for me was the 3090 Ti and the 4090. Those were always out. I don't want the power draw. I also did not want the price. So, to me, I always wanted to get a hold of a 7900 XTX, which I'm using right now, or a 4080, but at a reasonable rate. If you take the 4080 and the 7900 XTX and you pit them together, they're similar graphics cards. 7900 XTX wins a little in raster. 4080 wins a little in ray tracing. 7900 XTX is a little cheaper. 4080 has power efficiency. So there's this balance where it's actually kind of a tough decision. Also, people say, go get a 7900 XTX for $999. Well, those are reference models. And some of the reference models have had trouble. Mine didn't. My reference model works actually pretty well, I'm going to be honest. It's literally, like I said, I'm recording in it right now, so this will be the first video I will see with it. Oh, man, I need to stream and check my frames. Anyways, so stop the rambling. Let's switch this up. So, here's what I did. This is Dock 2. Minimize that. Boom. I'm going to shrink myself a little more. In the corner. I'm going to go over here. Unlock my Dock 1, which is this guy, and make it a little bigger. There you go. You guys should be able to see that. I can just bring this all the way up to about there. Okay. So here's what I did. You know what? For the sake of this, I'm going to shrink myself down more, guys. I'm going to put myself a little baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. And I'm just going to go all the way there. There you go. That should be pretty clear to see. To me, this looks pretty clear. All right. Here's what I came up with. Here's my card, right? Here's my 3080. My 3080, in something that's important to me, was thermals. My Asus TUF is silent, man. That thing doesn't make any noise. My GPU temp was usually around 68. But you know what? My Asus TUF, my GPU hotspot, actually it's my memory, hits 90C. It's pretty warm. I would say it is a little warm, but works perfectly fine. Silent. It was pulling in gaming about 340 watts. 367 was my peak. And here's what I was able to do. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 4K, in the settings I want to play out, not 4K Ultra, I turn off depth of field motion blur because I just don't like those, right? Everything else was on Ultra. I was able to average 74 frames with 56 FPS as my 1% low. I tested Fortnite, and I landed in the same spot, and I ran the same route over and over and over, and I tested it. In Fortnite, in this one frame where I stopped and consistently, I was able to average 108 after 3 runs, 89, 103, 99 for an average of 100 frames in Fortnite. 4K, an ultra blend, like I turn shadows off because that's how I like to play Fortnite. I like to have shadows off. But I had Lumen on. I had the ray tracing on. I have textures on ultra. I have like high processing instead of epic. I have the Fortnite settings pretty visually appealing while maintaining a little bit of competitive frames. Sorry. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I compared that. I got 65 frames. My Time Spy was 18,000. My Fire Strike was 38. And so I did 2 synthetics, 2 benchmarks, and a real game that I play. I want to know how the card performed for me. So this is my benchmark, right? So what did I do is I bought a 4070 Ti. 4070 Ti was 6% faster, 14% faster, 9% faster, 14% faster, and 7% faster. And the lows were a little bump. So, but between this 74 to 80 and 56 to 60 in Assassin's Creed, not really noticeable. Fortnite 100 and 117, not really overly noticeable, but it helped a little bit. Tomb Raider 65 to 72 is nothing. And then the synthetic. So overall, the 3080 versus the 4070 Ti for me, not enough of an upgrade. But what I would say I liked was right here, the power draw. 281 was my peak that I ever pulled with my 4070 Ti. And during gaming, I was pulling 100 watts less, 340 watts. So I would say that the 4070 Ti is a better buy than the 3080 today, or the 3080 Ti or 3080 12 gig. If you have those, you probably don't need to upgrade. I would say a 3080 10 gig and below, you would see a little upgrade, and you would save a lot on power. Power is important, especially in the countries that get hit hard for the power, like over in the EU. Man, they need this efficiency. So is the 4070 Ti a good card? Yeah, it's a solid card. It's just a little overpriced. I bought one. I'm going to go down. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. Right now, you can get my card for $751, the 3080 12 gig I have. I got out the door at $800. How did I do that, you say? Well, I bought a $799 GPU. I took 10% off, $79 off. It was like $820 or something after tax or whatever. It was close to $800. So I was out the door around $800 on a 4070 Ti. Not a lot of money for decent performance. You could use it for 4K, but I'm going to be honest. My recommendation would be a killer 1440p GPU. Okay, now let's move up. I bought a 7900 XTX. This was 15% faster, right, in Firestrike synthetic, 20% faster than my card in synthetic, but it was only 7% faster in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And when I turned Ray Trace Shadows on, it was only 4% faster, where the 4070 Ti was 13%, meaning the 4070 Ti was 9% faster than the 7900 XT. So when I'm looking at these, I'm saying, oh, look at a little better, a little better. Uh-oh, that's not as good. Oh, in a game I would play, it's not that much faster. In Fortnite, the 7900 XT was only 4%, 3.5% faster than the 4070 Ti. 117, 122. 122 is good, but I don't know. So then I came down here and my 7900 XT pulled 367 watts of power, the same as my 3080. It gamed at 309. It was loud, and it had similar temperatures. I didn't love that. So I decided, you know what, let's get a 7900 XTX. So I buy a 7900 XTX. Now we're talking 22% faster. This is stock settings. Bear with me. I'll get to it. 30% in DX12, 20% in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It was even 20% faster in ray tracing than my 3080. It beat the 4070 Ti in ray tracing, which is very similar to the 3090 Ti. It hammered the 7900 XT. And in Fortnite, I was able to get 140 frames, which is 28% that I was looking for, right? In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I was 32% faster. This is the performance I'm looking for, guys. This is 20 to 30% faster. The problem was it used a little more power, peak, a little more power in gaming. It was louder than any of the cards. And the hotspot was 88 was my junction. It's within specs. All right. I also bought it for $899. So out the door, I was at $965. Not bad. So I played with my 7900 XT, my XTX, excuse me. And I undervolted it with power, not power. And I landed on this one here. I got, 20% faster instead of 22. So I sacrificed a few in Firestrike, which really didn't matter because I actually got the same scores in Time Spy. I was 1 frame difference in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, 1 frame difference in Fortnite. I mean, the difference between 140 and 139 doesn't matter. And a few frames less in Assassin's Creed. But what did I do it at? I did it at 350 watt peak and 305 in games. It also quieted down the GPU. And look at my temps, 67 to 79, 68 to 80. So these modified settings where I undervolted were really awesome for the 7900 XTX. So what did I learn? Here's what I learned. And here's my recommendation to everybody, because I'm just kind of rambling and I want to make this about a 20-minute or less video. I learned that if you have a 3080, which I think a lot of people do, I don't think it's worth it to upgrade to the 4070 Ti. Okay? I just don't think it is. I don't think it's worth it to upgrade to the 7900 XT. But I do think it's worth it to upgrade to the 7900 XTX. And if you buy the 7900 XTX, it's okay to buy a reference as long as it's not an AMD reference. I bought a Gigabyte and it was just fine. But I would highly recommend you modify your settings because stock, it's kind of power hungry, right? 347 during gaming is the highest of any of these cards, so it's pulling the most power. It peaked higher than any card. The temps are as hot as any card, right? Right here, these guys here, these left ones, these are all high. I don't like the tough. I don't like the 4070 Ti I had. I don't like the 7900 XTX. And I didn't really like the 7900 XT either, right over here. I think these are all a little high. I prefer these temps over here, the 7980 hotspot with the 60s operating. So the last thing I'm doing, I bought a 4080 before I make my final decision, and I'm going to test it head-to-head with the 7900 XTX and my 3080. Because for me, the 4070 Ti, and the 7900 XT aren't enough. And their price points are a little high for the performance you get. The best bang for you buck is the $999 7900 XTX. That's what I think. However, you will sacrifice a little ray tracing, and you'll sacrifice power efficiency. And to get the good ones, the AIBs, you're talking 1150. And once you're in that range, aren't we really now at the 3080 price that we're complaining about? 4080 price that we're complaining about, excuse me. So the market, you go on, I watch a ton of YouTube, right? I'm going to pull it up right now. I watch a ton of YouTube. Let me look at my videos. I'm going to look at my watch history. Here we go. YouTube history. All right. I watch Classical Technology. He's an interesting guy. I love me some Daniel Owens, Hardware Unboxed, Gamers Nexus. But the people who really post on this kind of daily, which I kind of like to see some of the daily stuff as long as they got something important to say, is Daniel Owens, Classical Technology, and a few others. Where are they at? Classical Technology is a little blah. DeBauer, Jay, I'm a Mac. Wherever I'm at. Oh, ancient gameplays. Love this dude. Whenever you go on these, and also Tech Testers, right? Is it Nadia with Tech Testers? She's awesome. So, and I like PC Centric too. I think he does a good job. I think he's pretty fair. Digital Wonder, the Tech Buyer's Guide. Watch a lot of channels. So I do a lot of commenting, and a lot of people say, well, the 7900 is better than the 4080. Well, it depends, I suppose. If you're power conscious, maybe it's not, because I think it pulls a lot less. And I'm going to find out because I'm going to test it in the next few days. People say the 7900 is a waste of money, the XT version. It's a little overpriced, but it's a good GPU. Some people say the 4070 Ti is the worst product ever made. They should burn it, blah, 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 blah. No, actually, I think the 4070 Ti is a really good graphics card. It's insanely power efficient. Guys, I was getting 240 watts while gaming. I'm running it on Fortnite in 4K, getting 117 frames and only using 240 watts of power? What are we doing here? That's awesome. It cleans the floor with my 3080. The 4070 Ti, do not buy a 3080 if you can get a 4070 Ti, especially if you can use Best Buy's discount code. Oh, everybody, go get Honey and go shop on Best Buy. Dude, check this out. Can I do this? Download Honey, install it on your browser. If you have a Best Buy credit card, you can get 10% off almost all of the GPUs. I got my 4070 for $800 out the door. I paid $745 for it. That's a better price. I got my 7900 XT for like $800 even. So $868 out the door. My 7900 XT got for $899. I was $965 out the door. The 4080 I just bought, $1069, $1100 out the door. You can get a reasonable rate at Best Buy if you have their credit card and you use the coupon codes. And the easiest way to find the coupon codes is Honey. Go put Honey on your browser. I'm not sponsored. I'm just saying that's how I was able to save a lot of money. And then remove it after you're done. You don't have to keep it on your browser. Just my suggestion. Anyways, so here's where we're at. If you're in the market for a GPU today, I think you have some choices, finally. And I think you have some reasonable options. In my opinion, if you're at 1440p, 144 or above, or you're at 4K, the bottom GPU in today's market is the 4070 Ti. I'm not going to buy a used card and say, oh, I got one for $650 when I was able to spend $100 more and destroy it with the 4070 Ti. 4070 Ti is decent. Yes, $799 is overpriced. That's why I'm saying take 10% off and get yourself into the $749. I think $749 would be like, it would sell a little better. And at $699, it's a home run. I think $699, it's a great card. It's extremely power efficient. It's pretty capable. So for 1440p peeps, buy the 4070 Ti or 3080. 3080 is fine if you can get it for, say $500-$600. But if once you're in the $700, $800 range, the 4070 Ti makes too much sense. If you don't care about ray tracing, I don't know that I could ever recommend the 7900 XT. I just don't know where it fits. The pricing's weird, considering for $100 more you get an XTX. So for me, if I'm going to be in 4K, it's a 7900 XTX, a 4080 or 4090. In my opinion, nobody needs a 4090 unless you're making money off it. I've said this before, and I still believe it. Could I go buy a 4090? I can go buy a 4090. Okay, I can. I don't want to. I'm purposeful with my money, and I try to get value out of my money. So that's why my top was $1,069 that I spent on the 4080 that I'm going to test. And I'm going to keep the 4080 or the 7900 XTX. That's what I'm going to do. I play Fortnite. I play Assassin's Creed. I play Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I play Red Dead Redemption. I played Elden Ring. I'm about to play Hogwarts Legacy. Yes, I can play it if I want to play it. It's not a political stance. It's just me wanting to play a video game. Do what you want to do with Hogwarts Legacy. I don't care what you do with your money. If you want to boycott it, have at it. But I just don't want anyone telling me what to do with my money. I'm playing a video game, so I'm going to enjoy it. I don't care about all the politics and stuff. I'm not supporting anything. I'm supporting myself playing a video game I like. F off. I do not care. So I'll play Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to play some other things. So that's where I'm at. That's the info I have to share. Let's go back to the other slide real quick to wrap this up. In closing in this guy, remember, modified settings on a 7900 XTX right here, the one I'm pointing at right here. Modified settings. You can get 20% better than a 3080. You can get about 13% faster than a 4070 Ti on Firestrike. You can get 30%, which is 15% faster than a 4070 Ti. Dude, you're getting 10% faster here in games, in actual gaming. The 7900 XTX to the XT, you're talking like 15% in some cases, 10%, 15%. In Fortnite, I'm getting like 14% faster for $100. Don't buy the 7900 XT, buy the XTX. And buy a reference as long as it's not made by AMD. They're fine. It's just a little louder than I would prefer. It goes up to about 43 dB right here. I measured it. In stock, it gets pretty loud. It's like 44. Do custom fan curve and all that. So 1440p, 3080, 6800 XT, 4070 Ti. 4K, 7900 XT, 4080. If money doesn't matter, then you're not watching anyways. Not many people are. I'm gonna have like 10 views. It is what it is. I get it. I know. I'm just making this in case I help one person. If you're a millionaire and you don't care, or you're competitive, or you do this for a living, buy a 4090. Go buy one. Whatever. Spend $1,700. It's badass. It's more power than I want to consume, and I don't find it necessary. I don't think the user experience changes much. And I also want to say, the 7900 XT, the software is awesome. Can I show this? Can I show the software? Is that showing up? No. Can I capture the screen? Because I can show my settings. Let's do this. Let's capture my own settings. Let's add a source. Let's add a screen capture. Okay. We're going to add a new source. Add a source and do this and boom. Here's my screen. There you go. So what you're looking at here is my, lock that up. This is my settings on my 7900 XTX. Because like I said, I'm using this right now. Look at, you can see it. I'm using it right now. This right here, 7900 XTX is my primary display. I want to say this, and this is important in my opinion. AMD's Adrenalin software is awesome. I love this software. I do. I love it. It was a pleasure to work with. It's a little confusing to understand. Like, people are going to look at this right here, 23, 24, and say, I'm like, what do you mean? Wait, isn't that way lower? Well, guess what? I get 1 frame difference than stock settings. And look at, I'm undervolted to 1120. And I'm upping the power limit, and I still save power over stock settings. What? Junction temperature. I'm going to reference Gigabyte card. I just showed you my card, right? Here's my card. Gigabyte reference. Look at my junction. It's 58 degrees. That ain't a problem. Some of these reference cards are just fine. So here's my fan setting, by the way. I have it maxed out at 80, which gets pretty loud. Honestly, 70 is pretty good, but I live in California, so it's kind of hot. But this software, this AMD software is awesome. I love it. I love their software. So AMD software, win. NVIDIA drivers, win. Drivers is a little more important. Ray tracing, NVIDIA wins. Raster, AMD wins. Kind of in this weird balance, right? Where I'm not sure what to do. Price, 7900 XT wins. Power efficient, 4080 wins. Production, 4080 wins. Do you see the dilemma here? I want to stand on principle, and I don't want to buy from NVIDIA. F that, guys. Screw all that. I do not care. I'm going to buy the best product that I can afford, and I'm going to use it. Okay? Every company is overpriced. So knock this crap off. Just knock it off. It's stupid. It's a stupid argument. If you want to believe in it, have at it. I think it's stupid. Also, upgrade. The 7900 XT, bink, plugged my 2 cords in. 4070 Ti, I hated NVIDIA's adapter. Luckily, I have a Corsair power supply, and they made an adapter, which I ordered with my 4080, which will be here tomorrow. And when I test it, I'll be using the Corsair's own adapter, which everyone says it's much better, and it clicks in and stuff. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what people should do, but I'm going to test the 4080, and if it's quieter, cooler, more power efficient, comparable performance, and destroys this in ray tracing, then there's a good chance that I'm going to spend a little more money and go with 4080. Is it overpriced? Yep. Do I want it? Yeah, I do. Does it matter? Probably could go with either one and be just fine. I play Fortnite and a lot of single player. I'm playing Divinity Original Sin right now. I'm gonna do some ASMR real quick. I'm playing Divinity Original Sin 2 right now with my buddy, and I play in 4K and I max it out, and I play in 144 frames. And what's cool about the 4070 Ti, it was pulling like 225 watts while I was playing, which is awesome. This is crazy. My 3080 was pulling like 340 watts, and the 7900 XT was pulling like 320. So the 7900 XT was better in every way. But then I decided I don't need 144 frames while playing Divinity Original Sin, a RPG cartoon style turn-based. So I cranked it down to 60 frames and I just locked it, and the game there's no difference. There's no difference in that time of game between 144 and 60. You gain no advantage. It's turn-based. You're sitting there staring at one screen with no movement usually. In playing that, the 7900 XT with my modified settings drops down to about 180 watts. My 4070 Ti was dropping down to like 140 watts. So I'm very curious, when you cap your frames, how energy efficient the 4080 is going to be. So, but you're sitting there staring at my CPU when I'm doing this. I'm literally streaming right now. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm literally streaming right now. I think I'm using my GPU. Am I not using my GPU to stream? I'm not gaming, so it's barely doing anything. But look. And it's quiet. You want to hear how quiet it is? Check it out. I'm going to bring it over. Listen. I'm bringing my mic over. Listen. What'd you hear? You hear anything? I don't know what you heard because I sit a ways away. Anyways, there you guys go. That's where I'm at. Buy a 7900 XTX if you can get one for $999, and especially if you can get used Best Buy. Buy it at Best Buy and get a Best Buy code to save $99 off it and pay $899. And then, oh yeah, you had a $10 Best Buy reward because you buy things there. You're paying $889 is what I paid, plus tax in California, which is a lot, for my 7900 XT. It's a good GPU. The software is awesome. I didn't have a single bug with my drivers in all the games and all the stuff. I never had a black screen. I never had flickering. I never had any issues at all. I can't say that I have ever seen a issue with the 7900 XTX. I have not, and I have a reference model. So there you go. I'll close this out. Go dink. And dink. Back to this. And then we're done. We're wrapping her up. I've been rambling. It's a 30-minute video. What to buy? Depending on your use case, just be smart with your money. Don't go, like most people, like I said, don't go buy a 4090 unless you really need it. Come on. Well, I play at 4K 140 with the 4080 and the 7900 XTX can do 4K. People, no, it can't. It's not a 4K card. Shut up. Just shut up. Nobody should be playing on native 4K ray tracing because there's minimal settings you can do to tweak to gain massive performance and almost unnoticeable difference in graphics quality and gameplay. Like, what's the user experience like? That's what we should be focusing on, not what the frames say. In a lot of games, not every game, the difference between 144 and 160 or 160 and 200 or 120 and 140, it's not that big of a deal. Now, remember, I was getting like the frames I want to play at, my 3080 with Fortnite's update, I was getting like, what was I getting? Nope, not that one. I was getting 100 frames, and that was how I wanted to play. I want to get closer to my monitor, and I can afford it, so that's why I'm targeting the higher frames. Okay? That's why I'm upgrading. And to me, it's the 7900 XTX or the 4080. So anyways, I'll come back with one more video, and I'll compare the 7900 XTX to the 4080, and we'll see where it ends up. But for now, those are my thoughts. That's where I'm at. You do what makes you happy. Stop listening to people online. People are so stupid. Everyone's a freaking pro and has opinions and pushing some narrative. I don't care what you buy. Just be happy with your purchase. Look at the data. Look at the temps. Look at the noise. Look at your use case. Don't overspend and just buy what you want, regardless if YouTubers say that the 4080 is a waste of money or the 7900 XT is burning up. They're not burning up, dude. They had a vapor chamber issue with AMD reference models because they didn't put enough liquid in them. No, the 4090 power connector isn't burning things up, okay? There's a few connectors that were crap, and a lot of it was user error and a bad design. Let's face it, it's just stupid design. But there's plenty of people out there using these cards and experiencing with no issues. AMD has bad drivers. Well, maybe, but I haven't seen it yet. So, anyways, that's it. Be cool to humans, dude. Every human deserves a little human dignity. You know, you can just be nice to people. And don't argue with people on the internet would be my advice to people in the world. It just doesn't go anywhere, and no one really listens online. Online's just a place for people to bitch. So, anyways, that's it. Have a good night. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching, and maybe we'll catch you in the next video if you want to check it out. Consider throwing me a like, a sub, a follow at the bare minimum if I'm going to release a new video on this. Unfollow me, mute me, block me, whatever you want to do. It's your life. Peace out.